For a time in the 1970s and early 80s, the Pittsburgh Pirates were the second most popular baseball team in Canada, primarily because of this guy. Our hometown team, the Belgian Mooseheads of the West Scotia Intermediate Baseball League, wore Pittsburgh colors as a tribute to the Pirates. Not the Willie Stargell Pirates, but the Dave Parker Pirates. And I have bad news today. Dave Parker, according to AP, the hard-hitting Hall of Fame outfielder nicknamed the Cobra for obvious reasons, has passed away at 74. He will be inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame next month, but he didn't live to see it. The Pittsburgh Pirates announced his death on Saturday. He was 74. No further details about Parker's death were available. The Pirates informed the crowd of his death just before the start of the game against the Mets and held a moment of silence. Now, Parker, they say 6'5", I think he's more 6'6", made his major league debut in 73 and played 19 seasons, 11 for the Pirates. He was the NL MVP in 78, won a World Series with Pittsburgh a year later, and won another title in 89 with the A's. We're heartbroken to learn the passing of Dave Parker, a legendary Pirate, the team said in a statement. Now, Parker won NL batting titles back-to-back in 77 and 78. He finished career as a .290 hitter with 399 homers and nearly 1,500 RBIs. He also played for Cincinnati, Milwaukee, the Angels, and of course his last season with the Blue Jays. Now, Parker was elected to the Hall of Fame by a special committee in December. The induction ceremony in Cooperstown was set for a month from now. We joined the baseball family remembering Dave Parker, Hall Chairman Jane Forbes Clark said in a statement. His legacy was one of courage and leadership, matched only by his outstanding accomplishments on the field. The election to the Hall in December brought great joy to him, his family, and all the fans who marveled at his remarkable abilities. Now, born on June 9, 1951, Grenada, Mississippi, he grew up in Cincy and was a tree sports star at Courter Tech High School. Now, after playing for Pittsburgh from 73 to 83, he signed with the hometown Reds and spent 4 seasons with the franchise. In 85, he led the NL with 125 RBIs and was second in MVP voting. He was such a big dude at the time where there weren't that many. 6'5", 230-pound dynamic defender, batting champion with power guys. Hall of Famer Barry Larkin said. Everything about him was impressive. Now, I think his greatest play as a player was in the All-Star game when he threw for right field on a frozen rope right to Gary Carter. And his batting stance was one I tried to mimic. I think he swung about, I think it was a 36-inch bat. Now, in a statement, the Reds said Dave was a towering figure on the field, in the clubhouse, and in the Cincinnati community, where his baseball journey began, playing on the fields near his home and going to games at Crosley. Dave's impact of the game in this franchise will never be forgotten. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2012. He told reporters at the time he burst into tears when learning the selection to the HOF. Yeah, I cried. Parker said after receiving the news. It only took a few minutes because I don't cry. Now, Parker homered for the A's in the 89 World Series opener and took credit for helping the Bash brothers of Canseco and McGuire take the title with a 4-game sweep of San Fran. He was a 7-time All-Star and 3-time Gold Glove right fielder, and when he retired after the 91 season, he was only one of 5 players who released 500 doubles, 300 homers, 150 stolen bases, and 2,700 hits. I was a 5-tool player. I could do them all. Parker said after his Hall selection, I never trotted to first base. I don't know if people noticed that, but I ran hard on every play. Now, we're not going to be talking about the reasons why he wasn't allowed in the Hall of Fame until recently, because the drug trials, I don't want to talk about this. My father always said, always talk good about people you respect. Now, ironically, when he played with the Pirates, he came up through the Charleston Charles. Legend has it that Parker hit a home run that landed on a coal car in a passing train, and the ball was later picked up in Columbus, Ohio. However, in a 1975 interview, Parker stated, when I played for Charleston, I always had the ambition to hit a home run onto a moving train. I really used to shoot for that. I hit a few in the tracks, but never as a train going by. He began his major league career on July 12, 73 with the Pirates, where he played for the next decade. His first full season in 75, where he led the NL in slugging percentage and finished third in NL MVP voting. Now, he was a National League batting champion again 77-78. He also paced the NL in slugging percentage, on base, slugging, and total bases, his MVP campaign. This was in spite of a collision at home plate with John Stearns through a game against the Mets on June 30, 78, in which Parker fractured his jaw and cheekbone. He eventually wore a specially constructed face mask in order to minimize his time away from the lineup. The Pirates rewarded him with baseball's first $1 million per year contract, and not everybody liked it. The following year was an instrumental part of the Pirates' World Series We Are Family title team. Now, ironically, during the game in '79, the powerful hit he made to right field was very difficult to throw in the infield because he had knocked the cover off the ball. Well, it seems that the ball ruptured, making nearly half the cover come loose. Now, Pirate fans that didn't like him were angered by his $1 million contract and once threw nuts and bolts and batteries at him, as pitcher Ken Tekulve stated. A typo in a news story made it appear that he threw car batteries. So I wouldn't surprise me, it's Pittsburgh. So just to recount, his last game was to Toronto on October 2nd, 91, which was ironically the year before he won the World Series. Pirates, 73-83, Reds, 84-87, Athletics, 88-89, Brewers in 90, and Angels and Blue Jays in 91. Seven-time All-Star, 77, 79, 81 inclusive, 85, 86, 90. Two-time World Series champion, NL MVP. Three-time Golden Glove, 77 to 79. Three-time Silver Slugger Award winner, 85, 86, 90. Two-time NL batting champion, NL RBI leader, Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Fame, and of course, incoming a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. So, ladies and gentlemen, he is one of the 100 greatest players of all time. In '81, and a point of his career where he was going to one day rank up with the greatest all-time greats. Lawrence Ritter and Donald Honig included in their book, The 100 Greatest Baseball Players of All Time. The authors noted that Parker had succeeded Roberto Clemente in position. So wrote, someone must have had a fondness for right field in Pittsburgh. Now, ironically, him and Willie Stargell had a great friendship. And he also took turns warming up in the on-deck circle with a sledgehammer when most batters would use a simple lead-weighted bat. Now, injuries hurt his career as well as weight problems, and of course the allegations which were proven of cocaine use. Again, he became one of the central figures in a drug scandal that spread through the major leagues, but again, not my concern at this point. Now, when he elected the Reds Hall of Fame class in 2014, the native of Loveland, Ohio, who had 6 children, when he was inducted in 2014, the Reds, he included with Ron Oster and Ken Griffey Jr. In 2012, he's inducted into the Cincinnati Public Schools Athletic Hall of Fame. That's year he was inducted into Navegantes del Magallanes Hall of Fame. On September 3rd, 2022, again, Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Fame. Now, he died at age 74 for complications of Parkinson's, again, a full month before his Hall of Fame induction. So, Dave Parker, one of my heroes, a king of the late 70s. The only one team could stop the Expos in '79 from winning the World Series were the Pirates, and We Are Family will resonate. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Parker meant so much to us in Canada when he played with the Blue Jays. We almost said we're not worthy. I thought he would end up with the Expos at one point too, because with Vladimir Guerrero Sr., but never panned out because his career kind of faded in the early 90s. Dave Parker, again, one of the greatest of all time. We're going to miss your brother, and every time I remember back in 1983 when I put on that Belden Mooseheads jersey for the first time with all my pals. I thought of Dave Parker. Too bad Dave Parker wouldn't tour Canada. My God, he would never pay for a meal or pay for a hotel. He was that popular. The women liked him too. So, but to today's family and friends and colleagues, he will be missed. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, we're a baseball tribute podcast. Let us know what you like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.